Hi there, and welcome back to the dojo. This is my dojo, and this is where I do all my work. And today I'm going to talk about this book, Jawbreakers, Lost Souls. Let's get the disclaimer out of the way. There's been a big bun fight in the industry. There's been a lot of dirt thrown at each other online, over Twitter, and to be quite frank, I really don't care what people have got to say about each other. I'm not interested in. I'm interested in comics. I'm mainly interested in comic art, and I'm certainly not going to be told what I should or should not read by a bunch of people I don't know on the internet. The other thing that's important is to keep the art and the artist separated. So there's plenty of people that I will go and buy their comics for that I don't particularly like, but I don't care because I like the work. That said, professionalism is important, and if you approach people on the internet and they're nice to you and they give you good feedback and they talk to you even when you criticise them, as long as you're decent yourself, then I see no reason why people can't talk to each other decently and stop all this throwing dirt at each other online. I'm not one for groupthink. I don't like to be badged. The dirty word, comicsgate. People want to call me comicsgate or anticomicsgate, it's up to them. I don't care. What I am is a comics reader. I love comics. I always have done since I was a kid. And I've been able to make a living drawing comics the last 10 years. So don't badge me, and certainly don't try and bully me into doing one thing or the other. One thing I can guarantee I will do is if somebody online tells me not to go and buy something, I'll go and buy it. I don't agree with censorship in any form. I think if you don't like what you read or see on the TV or read on the internet, there's an off button. And yes, some people can be quite abusive and quite hysterical online, but you know what? There's a real world. Turn it off. Grow a spine, get a life. Right, so there's a disclaimer out of the way, and all I'm going to worry about here is this book. Okay, I'm not going to read any of the story elements. I know that some people do reviews with this whole story. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to give a general impression. The other disclaimer I would have to admit to is that I'm an art whore. So I'll buy books because I really like the look of them. Obviously, story and art are they depend on each other. So you buy a book because it looks beautiful, and you stay with a book because it's a good story. That's why you reread it. That's why you buy monthly comics, because the stories mean something to you. But I'm the kind of guy that will go and watch a crap movie because it's got great special effects. So I am shallow in that way. But what that does mean is that I can be probably a little bias on stories because of the art, whereas I should be unbiased and just take either aspect for their own pluses. But I can't divide myself from the art. So with that said, let's get into my interpretation or my feelings about this book. The first part of the book is Lost Souls. The middle part of the book is the original Jawbreakers, I believe, the original Jawbreakers story, and it's been remastered. And the last half, or the last third, should I say, which is book 2 of Jawbreakers, is furthering the story. Design-wise, the presentation is really nice. It's got a lovely inside. I'll pop up some images over the top of me talking. The design of it is really nicely done. I would say that I don't like having the Jawbreakers logo so small. I think it could do with being across the top. That said, it's all really well put together. So Lost Souls, John Maylin's artwork is just, it's brilliant. I mean, it's not necessarily my thing. I prefer Bronze Age, and I think this looks quite modern. However, it's done really well. It's slick. It's got lovely inking in it. There are a couple of places where I'm not keen on the way he produces anatomy, but I'm being very picky. Overall, it's a really strong look, strong style. Storytelling is really good, and the colouring's lovely as well. So that first part of the book alone, just that Lost Souls section, I think is really good. It's sort of 8 out of 10. The story, like I was saying, I'm not. The story doesn't mean quite as much to me because I'm really looking at the art. But the story was good. It shot along. There are a couple of odd holes in it, but nothing that took you out. There were some great pieces of humour. There's just a small part here where they're referencing popcorn flicks, actually, and that made me laugh out loud. There are a couple other bits and bobs. There's a lot of humour in here, and it benefits from it. It's really solid. So I'm going to give you an independent view. Yeah, I would buy this book if this was on the shelf of a comic book shop, and I know there's a bit of heat around that subject. I would buy it. There's no doubt it's a good book. So all the bad press aside and all the arguments aside, it's a solid book. I understand why he's put the remastered Jawbreakers in the middle. The artwork is unfortunately it's jarring to come to the artwork after Maylin's artwork. It's just not as good, obviously. It's not bad. It's just a little naive, I would say, and obviously requires a lot of experience, a lot more experience. But it's an early work, so it's better than some stuff I see coming out in other comics these days. So it's not terrible, but it is very jarring to see it after going from the first part of the book. Story-wise, I kind of got lost in it, to be honest. It lost me. It was nowhere near as rounded or as well done as Lost Souls. And then book 2, the artwork in book 2. It was Kelsey Shannon's artwork. It really pops. It's a strong style. If I was to critique, I would say there were places where anatomy broke down a little bit. A couple of the pages looked a bit rushed. But again, like I was saying with the first part, I'm being very picky. And overall, it's a very strong style, very dynamic. It's really nice. It's really well done. Again, the colouring's lovely. Popped off the page. A bit of a confusing story. I'm not quite sure where it's going. Again, not as well rounded as the first part, but definitely a solid read. And it's definitely something you'd pick up again off the shelf. I don't know that I'd necessarily buy that one on its own, but as part of the whole book, it really is an excellent inclusion. So I would have to say that this is a really good book. Completely independent of thought. Like I say, I'm not following a group think with my little stickies in there to show me where the good bits were. I'm not going to be swayed by that. I'll buy what I want, and I wanted to see what Richard Mayer was capable of, and obviously the artists involved as well. And it's a solid book. Whether you like that or not is obviously it's subjective. But you know, don't just kick it out because you've been told horrible things about someone. You know, separate the art and the artist. Give it a go. And if you get a chance to get hold of this second hand, you know, used or it does end up in a bookshop, pick it up. It's definitely worthwhile. So from an independent perspective, buy the book if you get a chance. If not, read a copy from one of your friends, and I would have to say this has got to count as a successful book. So thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting the channel. I've only got a few viewers at the moment, but I'm hoping to increase my subscriptions. Please share and like as well. Hit the up like vote button, whatever it is. And remember, if you're one of the first 500 subscribers to my channel, once I get 500, I'll then put you all into a draw, and I've got 2 free graphic novels to send out anywhere in the world. And if you go and follow me over on Twitter, I've also got posters, very close to 1,000 over there, so close to sending out some free posters to people, again, anywhere in the world. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon in the dojo. Thanks, bye bye. So that's my thoughts on the book. As I said, really good book. One last thing I'd like to add, or a couple of things I'd like to add. First one being the cover art by Ethan Van Sciver is fabulous. It's got a real DC vibe to it. It reminds me a little bit of some Brian Boland work, actually. It's just stunning, beautifully coloured. Whatever everybody thinks about the man out there in internet land, you cannot argue with the man's talents, and he obviously has quite a few of those, one of them being his artwork. It's beautiful, really is. And signing off, as I mentioned, there's been this bun fight in the industry. I think people need to calm down. I think some insults have been hurled on both sides, and people really need to get a thicker skin and get on with work and making comics, and also, trying to talk to each other and compromise and making things work, because damn it, the industry really needs it at the moment. So thanks very much for watching and listening to me babble on, and I'll see you again real soon. Bye bye. Thanks for watching Comic Book Black Belt. If you've enjoyed the content from this video, please like, share or subscribe, and come over and follow me on Twitter. It's been great having you in the dojo. See you again soon.